So I decided to take the advice that so many of you gave me to just get out, clear my head, go for a walk, and take some time to reflect on what I learned from some of the things that happened this week. So we had a couple of setbacks on a couple of different deals, but the one I'm specifically referring to is the one I was talking about in the video a couple of days ago, where we had a deal under contract and then we terminated that contract. And so I decided, when I woke up this morning, I saw snow on the ground. I thought I'm gonna go hiking today, and hiking here is fun. It's because the air is dry. Usually, even on a cold day, you have these beautiful clear blue skies. It's just gorgeous, and even in the cold, it's because it's dry. It's just easy to get outside. You get the right jacket and you're good to go. But it was kind of sleet and the overcast, cold rain. Like, I don't do cold when it's wet. So when the sky cleared up tonight, I decided to hit the trail. We got this great 40-mile long hike and bike trail that runs through 3 counties, and it has a lot of development along it. You can see all these houses in the background, and this is a trail that there's a connector to this trail that runs from the river bottom, which is where I am, all the way over to the downtown, right past our new building. So from a commercial real estate perspective, having access to these types of public amenities is really important and can cut down on the amenities that you need to put actually in your facility. So it kind of got my mind thinking about commercial real estate again. And honestly, I can't come up really with like a list of do's and don'ts and red flags and things that you should not do. Definitely, like, if you see this, then don't do this deal, because honestly, I would do that deal again. It was a good deal. The numbers worked. It's difficult to find a good deal where the numbers work in a market that has demographics that you're looking for. Just so many factors, so many boxes to check. This deal still works. I think the issue that we had is that we just didn't have enough resources to deal with the timelines that we had in the contract. We had a lot of backup plans, a lot of contingency plans, but we also had a lot of unknowns. And there were just cash that needs above and beyond earnest money. I would say you need to budget maybe 50% beyond what you need to bring in for earnest money, which we did, but we were just feeling a little cash strapped to get all this done, and we couldn't really bring in another partner. The general partnership has to stay to a certain size, and so I just felt like it was a little too tight to take on these fees that we were facing, in addition to having a bunch of the earnest money go hard. It was going hard that day, and we had to make a decision because we had a lot of hiccups with the lending, because Fannie was changing their guidelines in the middle of our due diligence, where they added a construction reserve on top of the principal and interest reserves that you actually have to give them and put in escrow, and it makes your cash on cash returns just tank, because we have to put in more cash into the deal. We all know what happens. Your returns go down. And so those extra reserves, basically we had to pay for our own renovations in cash, but they were requiring us to put that more than we had budgeted into an escrow account. And then they would release it to us in draws, like a construction loan. And so that wasn't going to work. We had to pivot to a bridge lender, get a different loan sponsor. And so just these hiccups that were happening, and we were just pushing up to the edge of our due diligence where the money was going hard. And we still had construction issues. We were waiting on bids for some heavier repairs than were apparent early on, and just ran out of time. Really just ran out of flexibility. And in this seller's market, where maybe they got backup offers, and maybe one of the backup offers was higher than what you offered, or they already put the marketing package together. And so, why not just relist it, especially if they think they can get more, or if they have somebody that they think can do a better job of closing, they're going to be less flexible. We've had deals that went sideways plenty of times before. It's just a very stressful, nerve-wracking process to try and close a deal. And basically, if we have enough flexibility in the timeline from the seller, we can pivot and pivot again. It just really depends on how much leash you have. And we just got to the limit of our resources. And I feel like what was a lot of money for us wouldn't be a lot of money for someone else. And that's going to change the way that you look at the risks associated with continuing with the deal and letting earnest money go hard. And I would do it again. I think we could have closed it. I still think that we could close it. It's just how confident were we? Was it enough to put that much earnest money on the line? More than we'd already spent. We just couldn't make that call. And in the face of that, we decided to pull the plug. So just having a lot of backup plans, having more ready cash in the group than just what you need, so that when people are putting that cash in, they're not feeling so strapped by it. And also having a backup plan if you can pay cash for a deal. I want to pay cash for the deal, but if you can get up some crazy backup lending on it in case at the last minute your lender changes terms or you need to get a different loan guarantor. A lot of things don't close because the lender doesn't perform. So having all those backup plans and contingency plans, extra cash and cash plans will really help you to be able to pivot when things go sideways, because they always will. And we weren't expecting everything to go perfectly well on this deal. We had a lot of hiccups, especially early on, and we pivoted, and we just ran out of time to keep pivoting, factored in with the risk that we were taking on. So that is my lesson. The red flags are when you're on tight timelines and the cash that you're putting into the deal is just making you feel really, really strapped. And if you can weigh those two things, you can get into a deal that's pretty good, as long as you have the right team to be able to absorb those at-risk and due diligence costs. You can make a deal work even if your seller timelines are tight or if you're in a seller's market. So that's what I learned from this deal. And I'm sure I will continue to reflect on it and learn new things about it. But at the end of the day, it's just based on your personal ability to get the job done in the time that you have been given to get it done. And it all goes back to the size of your network, the size of your resource pool. And if you are continuing to work on that, then you will be able to find the people and the cash, resources, investors, lenders that you need in order to get a deal done faster and with more confidence. I remember when I bought my first 50 unit, it was a terrible nerve-wracking experience, a lot of stress. And now we're buying a 26 unit just down the street from it that feels like almost a side deal, almost something I'm just doing in the background. It's just an easy press repeat and get moving. So because my network is so much bigger, I have a better ability to raise cash. I have a better ability to get my property manager and my contractor, same ones on the ground, just rinse and repeat on this deal. And it just feels so much easier compared to even just last year when we did the big brother up the street. And so just weighing the opportunity against your current network and taking something on and stretching yourself is fine. But at the same time, sometimes you just get stretched to the breaking point, and that's what happened to us. And we had to let it go and take the loss that we had in there rather than chasing the sunk costs. Oh, we already spent this much, we might as well keep going, and making that hard call. So that's what I learned, and hopefully that's what you learned from this experience. And I also learned just to take a break, get out in nature, clear your head, and there's really no better place to do it than in a place like this. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Thank you.